really great week. I know I'm super excited getting ready for the holiday season, and timely, that is our discussion for today. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Ali Zozos. I'm with Eat Love, and I am presenting our YouFit Times Eat Love Nutrition webinar and talk for this month on your guide to healthy holiday eating. I know this is a topic near and dear to my heart because I live the structure and the foundation that I'm going to be teaching today, not just holiday season, but all year round. Mindfulness, planning, those two key features around meal times and eating times is going to bring joy back to eating. It's going to make you feel more in control of your choices. And so you're not going to feel guilty around things because food is meant to be enjoyed. It nourishes our body and soul, our physical and spiritual well-being as well. So I'm excited to dive into today. And if you have some time to stick around after our webinar, I always review a little bit of Eat Love, because if you may or may not know that Eat Love is YouFit's in-house nutrition program offer. So anyone on our call today with a Premium Plus membership, you already have access. You may have received an invite to create a profile and to get automated nutrition and meal ideas and inspiration, unlike an automated meal feed set up very similar to Spotify, but instead of music and a playlist, we are showing you meals and meal ideas that you can engage with, add to your grocery cart, and actually get delivered straight to your door. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that today, but first we're going to dive into your guide to healthy holiday eating. As always, guys, please let me know where you're tuning in from. I know I'm in sunny Austin, Texas. Finally sunny. It's been pretty gloomy for the past couple of weeks, so we do have some sun peeking through today, which I'm really excited about. All right, we're going to dive in. So we're going to learn how to balance our indulgences and nutrition choices, create mindful eating habits, learn healthy swaps for traditional dishes, but I do have some caveats to throw in there. And then, of course, learn about YouFit's in-house nutrition program. Hi, Marco. Hi, Missy. Welcome, welcome. So tips for balancing indulgences and nutrition choices starts with planning and starts with mindfulness. Now, planning may be a little bit easier to get in the habit of, but mindfulness is an ongoing practice. And I'm going to leave you guys with some tips and tricks today that I think will be really helpful. I do have a couple of slides on here that I would highly recommend taking a screenshot or picture if you are on your phone for those slides, to revisit them at any time of the year, not just holiday season, of where you feel like you can be in more control of your choices. And if you're looking for a 1% improvement at that moment of time, reverting to these images and helping you get through that meal and that choice will be really powerful. It'll be really impactful for you to move forward in your lifestyle change. So first and foremost, don't stress. This is one meal a day. It's not going to sabotage your goals, even if you have a couple stops you need to make. But one day of mindful indulgences will not sabotage anything. Even if you choose not to take any of the advice I share with you today, it's one day. Nothing's going to happen. What happens is the consistency over time of ignoring our hunger fullness cues, of not planning, not being mindful of our choices. That's when we fall into this rabbit hole of not being able to get back out of. So these tips and tricks, I challenge all of you. Try it before next week. Try it for dinner tonight, or early enough, try it for, that's a little late for lunch, but try it for dinner tonight. And you'll be able to start envisioning this and being able to be more present with your choices before that day, and you will be a pro by next Thanksgiving, next Thursday. Prioritize protein and fresh vegetables. And I have a visual that will go through this in a bit more detail. But really, when we are looking for just any plate, forget the holiday season, what do we want on that plate? Well, we want 75% of that plate to be plants. So 50% being vegetables or fruit. And then we have 25% of a grain or a starchy vegetable like a potato. But that starchy starch component could be brown rice, could be regular white rice, it could be farro, could be quinoa, could be a grain, but 75% of that plate is going to look like plants. And then that other 25% leaves us with the protein piece. That protein can be made up of a lot of different things. So prioritizing your protein and your fresh vegetables to keep you fuller longer. What's really great about vegetables is that they are high volume food, meaning you can eat a lot more of them, and it's not going to give you a lot of calorie density, but it will fill up volume. So it ends up acting as a natural, lacking a word here, like filler up, like it fills you up. So you're not going to be able to eat more of the things that take up less space and are actually more calorically dense. So the next one is to explore and sample a couple of your favorite indulgent side dishes. And I do have a graphic. So that's going to make up the 25% piece that is not protein or fresh vegetables, because this is the time of year to really put aside and get those dishes that you don't have every time of the year. For me, that's stuffing. I love stuffing, but it's not really that accessible unless I make it myself. And I've never made my own homemade stuffing when it wasn't related to a holiday or family gathering. So I don't really get that all year long. So I am living for this stuffing the day that I can get my hands on it again one time a year. Things that I don't really need to have are mashed potatoes or any type of potato variety. I had these really great lemon potatoes a couple weeks ago, but they're in my repertoire often, and I make potatoes rather frequently in my house. So the things that I don't get a lot of, they're definitely going to make up that 25% of indulgent specialty dish that I don't get to see all year round. Embrace the joy of eating, the pleasure of eating. We are connected together during this holiday just to be present and enjoy each other's time. Swap stories for the year. Maybe you don't get to see family often, or when you do, you don't get to actually have a sit-down moment and really catch up and just understand what's been going on the year with them. And then trust your hunger, fullness, satisfaction signal cues. So we're going to go through this, and that's going to be the other screenshot I want you guys to take today, is just to better understand what the scale means when you get to one point or the other, how that interferes with the actual meal in front of you. So that'll be, I think my plate and hunger, fullness scale are going to be two of the best things that you may take away today. So building a balanced holiday plate. First and foremost, this one, it's that 75% plants for the most part. I would say like this is probably that 75% plant. Then we're going to prioritize our protein, and we're going to prioritize our vegetables. Now, our lean proteins and veggies, our veggies may be covered in creams and sauces. They may be a casserole. Who knows? It's okay if they are. I can't imagine, or I haven't been to a party where there wasn't at least one vegetable, either like a side salad or some roasted Brussels sprouts or some green bean almondine, which is my absolute favorite thing to contribute to the holiday season all year. Some caramelized onions, some toasted almonds, and green beans is a fire combination. I actually have a recipe to share with you all after this as well. So the lean proteins and veggies, that's 75% here, right? This piece. And then you have that small sample for your top 3 favorite dishes that you want to indulge in that you don't get to have every time of the year or often. You can also try using smaller plates and bowls to help with portion sizes. You can always go back for more when you have one small plate in front of you. But if you're going back multiple times with a dinner-sized plate, it's more natural for us to fill that empty space. So for appetizers and things, always stick with those smaller portions. And then for your dinner plate, think of this plate, take a picture of it. Think about it when you are going to actually through the line at your family gathering to put that food on your plate, and think practically about, do I have enough of this component? Do I have enough of this low density, low caloric density, high volume option? Do I have enough of this high caloric density, low volume option? So how they flip-flop like that, it's much easier to eat a lot of this because it tastes so good, you can't help it. But having a balance of everything means you're going to get a serving of vegetables, 3 to 6 ounces of some sort of protein, and then your favorite indulgences. There's room for everything when we prioritize and plan. So mindfulness over the holidays. If you are just getting started with mindfulness, or this is a new term for you to think about food in a mindful way, I have a couple of tips here that we're going to go through. And the first one is to unplug. Put the phone away. It doesn't exist. There was a time when phones didn't exist. Well, a much simpler time. But sit down at the table with your loved ones and be fully present. Use the time to connect with one another. Enjoy your meal. Take breaks in between bites, and don't eat too quickly. So this is something that you can practice right now. Even try it for dinner. But if you find that you're spending 5 to 10 minutes at a mealtime. I know lunch is really popular with this one because we're rushing in between meetings. We got to get back to work. But I promise you, we have time. And I always have to remind myself that as well. I know I was eating right before this call today, and I'm like, but I have time. I have time to sit down. I have time to be with my thoughts and just absorb. Even if I'm just mindfully eating by myself. And there's, that can be my own meditation time too. But what's really great about this is that you can slow your pattern down. So if you are a traditionally fast eater, like you inhale 5 to 10 minutes, because you have to, and you're bred to think that way because of the time that you have in between meetings and work. And when you get home for dinner, you just follow the same pattern that you did all day, or that sort of thing. Try these couple tips, and I think it'll be helpful. Is chew your food 25 times, 25 to 30 times. You may have like nothing in there to chew left, but keep chewing. That will slow you down. Put your utensil down in between each and every bite, because that's going to also slow you down. Imagine you have a fork here and you put it down, and then you're like, okay, I got to pick it up again to get my next bite. It slows you down just a hair, where you're not just kind of doing this continuous motion, but it's going to slow you down enough to really think about how quickly you're eating, because you have to, I have to pick up my fork again to take my next bite. Just a little subconscious trick there. And then the last one is going to set a timer. So set a timer for 20 minutes. So if you were eating in 10 minutes, add another 5 minutes onto that time, add another 10 minutes onto that time, and really see if you can fill that time with some of these additional tips and tricks to slow yourself down when you are eating. Another one is to ditch the clean plate club. So stuffing yourself is going to leave you feeling uncomfortable. It never hasn't. So we'll go through this with the hunger fullness scale, because you don't want to feel lethargic and sleepy and tired after that meal. So starting with those smaller portions and giving yourself time to digest before wanting more food takes your brain a couple minutes to catch up to actually how full you are. So you could be full and your brain is just not registering between your gut quite yet. And then all of a sudden you were like, oh my goodness, what did I just do? I am so full. So give yourself some time. Those smaller portions and plates will help you with that, because it's going to naturally let you gravitate towards smaller volume of food and just in general. So practicing self-care day of every single day is going to be really important. Holidays can be overwhelming. They can cause a lot of stress. They can cause stress eating. So implementing small care acts where you can to keep the stress of the day at bay is highly recommended. So taking a morning walk or a midday meditation, sipping on some herbal tea, and prioritizing your sleep the night before. Especially if you're hosting, you're probably not getting a whole lot of that. You're running around the house trying to tidy up the house and do the cleaning and last minute things that way. But get a good night's sleep and stay hydrated all throughout the day. There's usually some alcohol at these events as well. And I don't have a slide on specific alcohol and holidays this time around, but just know that alternate your beverages, feel better, make your tomorrow self thank you for what you did today. These tiny acts of self-care really do matter, and they're going to make you feel like $1 million all day long and days leading after the holiday. Changing your mindset is the last one here, and that's stepping away from thoughts of restrictions and eliminating your favorite holiday foods, because elimination does not exist in a happy, healthy relationship with food. So instead, focus on terms like, what can I add to my plate to improve my healthy behaviors? Enjoy your healthy foods and behaviors. So we don't want to think of negative things, or my doctor told me I can't have this, or I'm going to eliminate all of this because my diet starts tomorrow. And those negative thoughts around food do not help us long term. That behavior can actually rub off on those around us, our children, even adults in the family. But that behavior and the way that you approach food is not just affecting your relationship food. It's affecting the relationship that people around you have with food as well. I think that's why the 90s were such a wild time. It was like, what's the next diet? What can we do next? And there wasn't really this positive outlook around food, of how it's nourishing, how it's essential for life, and that how we can make everything fit with a little bit of planning and a little bit of mindfulness. So next picture that I want you to screenshot is the Mindful Habits Over the Holiday Hunger Fullness Scale Q. Now, I show this scale a couple times, I think throughout the year with our monthly webinar talks, but this is one of the ones that it is synonymous with a healthy holiday eating webinar, is this hunger fullness scale. So when you look at the scale, you're going to notice that the range is 1 to 10, 1 and 2 being very, very hungry, 9 and 10 being very, very full. Now, each one of these numbers is going to have a specific quantity associated with it, quality, characteristic of the quantity, essentially. So we have painfully hungry, may feel sick at number 1, and we have painfully full, may feel sick at number 10. So we don't really like the feeling of being sick when it comes to mealtime. It's not a positive way to outlook our food, and we don't want to associate being painfully full or being painfully hungry anytime we sit down to eat. So really what we're looking to do is stay within a range of this 3 to 7, where we never let ourselves get too hungry and we never let ourselves get too full. And a way to do that is just to eat within this range. If we are waiting until we are a 1 or 2 on the hunger fullness scale, without having much control over that meal and what we're putting into our bodies, because we're going to eat really fast because we've been hours and hours and hours without a meal, we are more likely to end up to a 9 and 10 on the hunger scale if we are waiting until 1 and 2 to eat. But if you're aiming to stay in this range, you're able to control that meal. You are more in control of that meal than the food is in control of you. So letting yourself feel hungry, but not too hungry, letting your stomach growl a bit and saying, okay, I have a break after my next meeting, I can eat now. Or I'm going to prep my stuff ahead of time so that way I actually make sure that I get my lunch today. But making sure that you are within a 3 to 4 when you initiate that mealtime, and you're stopping around a 6 to 7. I challenge you all to try this tonight or tomorrow or a couple meals leading up to the holiday season. You will absolutely see a difference when you're like, wow, I can stop. I know when to stop. And it is one of the most important and vital skills that I think anyone on a relationship with food journey or anyone on a health journey can have in their toolkit of when to do things in moderation, how to do things in moderation. And this scale is something that I go back to every single time I pick up a fork and eat without even realizing. I'd be like, okay, I'm good. I know what my 6 and what my 7 feels like in a meal. And this right here is going to help you tenfold when you are on that journey or just beginning that journey and continuing that journey for life, because we are on this journey for life. All right, so healthy swap-ins. I always preface this by saying, again, you don't have to take any of this advice today, but if you are looking to reduce your saturated fat intake or looking to reduce your added sugar intake, making things from home, of course, is always going to be a really great option. It's one of the only times a year that we can say, yeah, I want to, like, you may get excited about cooking, even if you're not a cook and you don't like cooking, you may get really excited to cook things on Thanksgiving. But homemade cranberry sauce, for canned cranberry sauce, I am a sucker for the can with the little ridges on it that just comes out of the can. Used to be my favorite part of Thanksgiving growing up as a kid. We actually still buy it for that reason because I just love seeing it, and it's such like a nice warm reminder of my holiday traditions. But I always like having a homemade cranberry sauce as well. Super easy to make. We actually have a really great recipe that I'm going to be posting in the Facebook group tomorrow that will do that. But it's just fresh cranberries, a little bit of water, a little bit of sugar, and some lemon juice, and you can get a very nice, warm, cozy. You can even put some orange juice in it instead of lemon juice. That would be a really warm flavor to it as well. And you can just season it how you want to. Seasoned root vegetables for creamy casseroles, or you can have both. I love both. But seasoned roasted vegetables you can make taste delicious with just a little bit of pepper, some spices, some herbs that you just have in your pantry lying around. You cannot go wrong with just dumping a whole bunch of things on there, letting heat do the work for you with a little bit of oil, because heat is what is making some of these dishes taste so decadent. It's going to crisp your vegetables. It's going to, I think the dessert that we talk about up here, cinnamon nutmeg brown sugar, or this one, baked apple with cinnamon, heat's going to do a lot of that work for you too. It's going to make them really nice and warm and really soft and be a very decadent dessert without really feeling super decadent. It's a fruit. We have tons of recipes in Eat Love that are baked apples. We actually have a baked apple pie packet, which is really wonderful. Crustless pumpkin pie. Lots of really great things in the database if you are looking for specific holiday themed ideas. Whole grain stuffing. For box stuffing, of course, you're making it from scratch, so you're not getting all of the additives and preservatives that are thrown into the box to make it easy to do that. So you always get, if you're in control of the stuffing, you can always throw in, maybe not, it's not 100% whole grain. Maybe your family will sniff it out like mine, but you can always do like 50-50. At that point, it's all mixed together anyways. No one really knows. And I love a whole grain in a stuffing because of the nutty flavors. And that to me is very traditional with just the way fall, if fall was a flavor, how fall would taste. Greek yogurt for sour cream. And like I always say, these swaps are always optional, but Greek yogurt for sour cream is one that I will probably do every day for the rest of my life. If I'm having a Greek yogurt or I need sour cream for something, I'm almost always going to use Greek yogurt because taste profile wise, I truly can't taste a difference. And Greek yogurt is going to have a ton more protein, and I'll be able to control the fat content a little bit as well, depending on what type of fat I get. And I do full fat to zero fat, just depends on what I buy that week. But Greek yogurt is going to have a lot more protein. And to me, if I'm prioritizing my protein, I'm going to go that option because there's a little bit more nutrient bang for my buck with the Greek yogurt. I made a really wonderful canned chicken salad for lunch this week to have with some Triscuits and carrots and some sliced strawberries, bento box, super simple. And the recipe is always like, okay, it's a mayo base. So I do like 50-50 or 75 Greek yogurt, 25% mayo, because I still like the taste of mayo, but I want something that has a little bit more nutrition to it. So I get both options. And it happens to be my favorite way that I enjoy it now. Cinnamon and nutmeg for brown sugar, or you can mix all three. I do like this one together. Date sweetened desserts for sugar sweetened desserts. Dates are really wonderful natural sweetener. I believe it's categorized as a fruit. And it's very sweet, and you can grind it up, chop it. They make date syrup as well. It's a little bit more natural, but again, sugar too. So enjoy what you like. And then this is one of those specialty dishes I'd probably go for, mashed butternut squash for mashed potatoes, knowing that mashed potatoes is something I can get any day of the week, any day of the year. Mashed butternut squash, however, not so much. Mashed butternut squash in itself is very fall. You're really only going to see that around fall and Christmas and holiday seasons, just because it's in season around this time. But it's a unique dish that I wouldn't see often. I probably wouldn't make myself. So if I were to see this on a buffet and just going through the line, I would absolutely get a butternut squash. Now, at the end of the day, they're both root vegetables. They're giving you a lot of fiber, both of them. Butternut squash gives you a bit more vitamin A because it's orange. And anything that has that orange color is going to present that nutrient known as carotenoid. It is a carotene. There we go. It's a carotene, beta carotene, and it's really great for eyesight. So I'm getting a little bit more vitamin A. That's about it. But it's also a unique dish that I don't get often, so I want to try that one. You could also get both, so no harm there. And then the baked apples with cinnamon for apple pie. There is a really great recipe we have in the system that you can actually bake these apples with a foil packet, it's a cooking method that kind of uses the steam within the packet to cook it with inside your oven. So it's like in the oven in a packet with that moist heat method. And then you can season it with some cinnamon, maybe a little brown sugar. You can even dump like a crumble on top if you wanted to add some like baked oats or some almond flour. I love almond flour in baked goods because it has this very almost like moist texture to it that I think is really wonderful. So highly recommend that. I know we have a ton of recipes in the system that will use that as well. And then spritz for sangria. Spritz because it gives you a little bit of hydration. But if you want to also cut down your sangria with spritz, by all means, that's a happy, healthy alternative as well. So any questions with anything holiday related before I move into Eat Love for You Fit? Thank you guys so much. You've been awesome. Hi, Cinda. Fort Lauderdale. Must be super sunny. Miami too. I'm not sure about Atlanta. Awesome. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to post them here. And now we're going to talk a little bit about YouFit's in-house nutrition program with Eat Love. So we are personalized nutrition guidance for every eating occasion based on your nutrition goals. So think I have high cholesterol that I want to reduce, and I also want to lose weight, and I'm a beginner cook and I'm cooking for 3 people and I only want to spend 15 minutes per recipe. You put in all of that information and we tell you which recipes are going to best fit that criteria. And from the nutrient perspective, like the weight loss piece and the managed cholesterol piece, those two coming together, we're going to show you meals that match a nutrition profile. So it's not, we are completely agnostic to diet. We're not saying you can't eat this food because you have this condition. You can't eat that macronutrient because you have this condition. As long as it fits a nutrition prescription based on validated scientific facts, we're big on science at Eat Love, to show you what you can actually eat with that condition. Again, we're doing the addition. We're not excluding. We're very big on the addition and what fits. So if you are managing diabetes and you were told you can't eat carbohydrates or you have to decrease them to a very, very, very small amount and you don't know how to manage that, Eat Love is going to show you what you can have on a validated diabetes template. And it's going to be really great because you're going to see things that you might not have thought you could have had in the past, like pizza and pasta, but it's all managed within a portion size, very much like that plate method that I showed you today, to remove some of that confusion around, I didn't know I could eat this because I'm managing this condition. Or I have a weight loss goal and I didn't know I could eat that because I was told I couldn't lose weight eating that food. Food is amoral. There is no good, there is no bad. There is just the planning piece of how you put it into your day. And that is what we automate at Eat Love for you to give you on-demand inspiration. So we have recipes, we have restaurant meals of over 150 chains, we have ready-made meals and meal kits. We also have grocery integration and delivery that you can create your grocery list, plug it in, and get your groceries delivered directly to your door. We have nutrition analysis and food logging for you to track how you're doing with those goals. How are you doing with getting enough protein? How are you doing with getting enough vegetables? We're going to give you a percentage of where you are based on your target. And then, of course, our private Facebook community, I believe, is YouFit times Eat Love. And you all can join that today. Just type in your Facebook YouFit times Eat Love and see if that group pops up. I think there's a picture of me in the home, the banner, and join that because I have some really great recipes going live on there tomorrow, as well as our monthly webinars, which are a free benefit for you. It may be that you are looking to join YouFit. Maybe you've been a member for years. Maybe you're looking to upgrade your membership to Premium Plus so that you get access to everything that we're talking about today in terms of Eat Love and creating that profile. So here are just some of those recipes that we have in the system, and I will be posting all of these tomorrow in a recipe collection for you to grab. And I want to flip over just briefly. I know we just have a couple minutes left today, but I want to show you what we look like on the inside. Very much like Spotify, we have an app that you can download once you do have your profile, and I believe it's inside of YouFit once you create that profile. But when you create your profile, you're going to be asked questions like, what type of diet do you want? And we're going to give you macronutrients, micronutrients, targets to hit. These are your macros. We're calculating this for you. And we're not only just giving you these numbers and saying, okay, go plan this on your own. We're saying, okay, now we're going to show you recipes and meal ideas that match this criteria. So the only thing you have to select for is what looks good in the moment. It's a really great way to relieve the stress because I know there can be a lot of stress around eating, especially if you have multiple family members doing multiple different things and you just don't want to think about it, but you want to know you have a good option. So based on my nutrient profile, all of these meals match my nutrition prescription. You can see here how well I am doing with the goals that I have. Things that are over are good things like micronutrients, and things that are under are good things to be under. I'm under my saturated fat target. I'm under my sodium target. I'm under my added sugar target by a ton. So these are the things we're trying to remove the stress around mealtime with your selections. And you can always swap for something that you want instead. You're still going to get options that match your nutrition criteria. So here's a whole bunch of options that still fit your profile. So you're just choosing on what looks good. What do I have on hand? And do I feel like making this dish? Which if I had to eat this way for the rest of my life, I would. Just gives you some ideas and inspiration. I absolutely love this meal. I eat this probably twice a week. And you can batch cook this and repeat the meal. So maybe you want to do this for breakfast all week. Your meal recommendations are going to update based on how you have the day planned out. Another really great feature is our swap option with restaurant meals. So based on your geolocation, you can see here, if you want Sweetgreen, we're going to show you what's a perfect fit, dozens of options. And then we're going to show you things that aren't a perfect fit. Why? Over in sodium, but not as much as 500 milligrams over in sodium. So you can pick and choose what looks good in the moment and how you want to order your food. But 150 national chains are going to be in the database for you to choose from for on-the-go options. So you can select things you want to add to your grocery cart. You get your grocery cart here, and you can actually check off things that you have on hand and even buy online through one of our third-party integrations. Think that you're at the club, you're on the treadmill, you're cooling down, you're walking, you have the app open, you're adding meals to your grocery cart, and you want to swing by on your way home. You can pick them up right when you're doing the cool down of your workout. It's a really great time to prioritize your health and nutrition at that point. Because I find if you can delegate time, pockets of the week anywhere that you can, you're more likely to have the time that you didn't have where you said, I don't have time to make meals. Now you're going to have time to make meals. Now you're going to have time to prep. Now you're going to have time to execute the plan of 4 meals a week, 5 meals a week. And that's a happy start. I've never cooked more than 5 meals in a week, 3 dinners, 1 breakfast, 1 lunch. I stick to it. I haven't missed that system in years because it's a manageable goal for me to do every single day, every single week of the year. Another really cool option is the daily log, where you can add your food. You can confirm that you ate certain dishes, and then can do your water intake. You can record your weight and exercise notes. We are integrated with Fitbit, so you can bring your calories over and steps taken. And then you can see your nutrition report up here, or you could download a more detailed one that's going to show you how you're doing with your goals. I love doing this. I do one every New Year's, like for the first week, just because I eat pretty consistently, but I want to do a little freshen up. Maybe I'm not getting enough of a micronutrient. Maybe my protein's low. So what does my day-to-day look like? And this report will give me all of those answers. So I highly encourage all of you to check that out. And if you have a Premium Plus membership, you already do have access. So it's a win-win there. And for anyone looking to upgrade your membership to get access to this benefit, you can speak with your home gym to learn more. But I'm going to pause there and see if you guys had any questions for me. Amazing. Well, I hope you all have a really wonderful holiday, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good one.